بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Guide us in the straight path. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم, the path of those on whom you have bestowed your grace. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين, not of those who have incurred your wrath, nor of those who have gone astray. Inshallah, we'll in this session focus on the first verse. Guide us in the straight path. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. In the literal sense, guidance to the straight path means to guide someone or something towards its destination with kindness. So simply, this is the literal meaning of guidance. And the teaching with regards to prayer of guidance and the straight path, this is addressed equally to all men, Muslims, as well as saints and the Anbiya, the prophets. So those who have already received guidance, the question may arise that why is this prayer repeated even for those that have already attained guidance? They already have Islam or are on a further stage of Iman, Imani Kamil, complete faith. So the answer to this is that Hidayat, guidance, has various stages. The best explanation of the word Hidayah, guidance, has been offered by Imam Raghib al-Asfahani rahimahullah in his Mufradat al-Quran, which can be summed up as saying Hidayah signifies leading someone towards his destination kindly and gently, while guidance in the true sense, in the real sense, issues forth from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone by way of tawfiq, and it has several degrees. And the ayat karima, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم, there are a few ways or meanings of this. Hazrat Shaykh Maulana Idris Kandilwi rahimahullah, he translates it in a few different ways. Shows the straight path is one way, one manner or one meaning, and let us tread upon the straight path is another meaning. And the third translation that he adopted was lead us to the intended destination, manzil maqsood tak pahuncha. So these are the three translations offered by Hazrat Shaykh Idris Kandilwi rahimahullah. And there is one degree of guidance that is common to all, whether they are minerals, plants, animals. So this is common to all. Everyone is inclusive of this guidance. Everything that exists in the heavens and the earth is inclusive, has at least this stage of guidance. Even the mountains and the rocks that seem lifeless to us, the only difference between them and us in this stage of guidance is that life is extremely limited within those creations, such as plants and and rocks and mountains, etc. And to some degree, animals um, have more sense and life within them. Then obviously human beings, as well as jinnat, um, have an even greater degree of consciousness and sense. Um, thus, why everything that exists in the universe is subservient, uh, is there for the service of man and jinnat. Um, and Going back to what I said, even the things that may seem lifeless to us have some form of life, have some form of guidance, and this first degree of guidance within this realm of guidance. Um, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا يُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِهِ وَلَا يُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِهِ وَلَكِنْ لَا تَفْقَهُونَ تَسْبِيحَهُمْ. Nothing exists that does not celebrate His praise, but you do not understand their mode of praising. So even the rocks, the mountains that seem lifeless to us, to some extent have that much life. They are remembering and doing the dhikr, the tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ألم تر أن الله يسبح له من في السماوات والأرض والطير والصافات كل قد علم صلاته وتسبيحه والله عليم بما يفعلون. Have you not seen that everything in the heavens and the earth proclaims Allah's purity, and the birds too that spread their wings? Each of them knows its prayer and its mode of praising, and Allah is aware of what they do. And evidently, one cannot praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without knowing Him. It is equally evident that knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the highest form of knowledge possible, and such a knowledge cannot be gained unless one possesses consciousness and understanding. So these verses show that everything that exists in the universe possesses life, sensitivity, understanding, and consciousness, though it may not always be apparent to the ordinary observer, for the example of a rock, a truth which has been endorsed by all the great religions, by even certain ancient philosophers, and um, many of modern philosophers, and lately even by experimental scientists, even experimental science and modern science um, testifies to that. This is the first degree of guidance, which is common to minerals, plants, inclusive of animals, men, jinnat, and all forms of creation. The Quran speaks of this primary and general guidance in these words: قال ربنا الذي أعطى كل شيء خلقه ثم هداه. He gave everything its distinct form and then guided it. Whereas we find in Surah Al-A'la, سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى. Celebrate the name of your Lord the Most High, who has created all things, well proportioned them, and who has determined and guided them. This is to say that Allah has given each and every creature a particular nature and function, and guided it in a way which should correspond to its station in the scheme of things. Within the system, Allah Ta'ala has guided everything. Thanks to this general guidance, everything in the universe is performing its allotted function with great efficiency. For example, it is the ears that that hear a sound and not the eyes or the nose. Similarly, the nose smells but cannot see. The eyes see but cannot smell. In short, as Allah Azza wa Jal says, إن كل من في السماوات والأرض إلا آتي الرحمن عبدا. There is nothing in the heavens and the earth but comes to all. There is nothing in the heavens and the earth except but comes to the All-Merciful as a servant. إن كل من في السماوات والأرض إلا آتي الرحمن عبدا. And there's the second degree of guidance. Unlike the first degree, the second degree is not common but very particular, and this is limited to those of the creation that are considered to be rational and have the greatest intellect amongst the and in comparison to the other forms of creation, and that is men and jinnat, mankind and jinns. This kind of guidance comes to every man or mankind through Anbiya, prophets, and revealed books. Some accept this guidance and become Muslims, so they enter the first or the second stage of guidance. Some reject it and become disbelievers. So this is the second degree of guidance, Islam. And there is the third degree of guidance, which is even more particular, being very specific to true believers, mu'mins, those that possess imani kamil, a complete faith, and the God-fearing, the muttaqeen. Now, like the first degree of guidance, this third stage of guidance descends directly to the individual from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is called tawfiq. And the second degree of guidance, the stage of degree in between, has the medium of Anbiya and divine revelation. And this third degree of guidance is to say Allah's grace provides a man with the internal, external means and circumstances by which it is made easy and even pleasant for him to accept and act upon the guidance of the Holy Quran, and makes it difficult to ignore or oppose it. The scope of the third degree of guidance is limitless, and its levels indefinite. And here is the sphere in which man not only can but is required by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make progress. And the means of this progress, to attain progress in this third degree of guidance, is a'mal salihah, good deeds. An increase in virtuous virtuous deeds brings an increase in divine guidance. The Holy Quran itself gives us promises of such an increase. وَالَّذِينَ اهْتَدَوْا زَادَهُمْ هُدًى. As for those who follow the straight path, Allah will increase their guidance. وَمَنْ يُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ يَهْدِ قَلْبَهُ. And whoever believes in Allah, He guides his heart. الَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. Those who strive for us, those who strive in us, we will surely guide them on our paths. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us and make us progress, and make the progress and the third degree of guidance and beyond easy for us. It is in this field of progress that we see even the greatest Anbiya and men of Allah, the awliyaullah, striving, and it is an increase in divine guidance and help that they keep seeking to their last breath. So sometimes the Quran Kareem makes mention of the general form of guidance that Allah Azza wa Jal bestowed upon all creation, and sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes mention of the specific third degree of guidance, and sometimes Allah talks of Islam, which is a second degree. Hafiz ibn Qayyim rahimahullah mentions that Sirat, path, has is that way or path which has 5 qualities. One is mustaqim, it is straight, it is a straight path to the destination, and leads to its destination, mawsul ila al-maqsood, and it leads a person to the intended destination. And number 3, it is the shortest path. Okay, and 4th, it is the path that is the most vast, so it is the widest path. And number 5, to take it to take one to the intended destination, there is no other path besides this. Whichever path, whichever way has these 5 things, qualities, is known as Sirat. So this is what this specific word means. And what is Sirat al-Mustaqim? Sayyidina Abdullah bin Mas'ud and Abdullah bin Abbas radiyallahu anhu is narrated from them that it is the deen of Islam. And some sahih ahadith from some sahih ahadith we learn this also. And Jabir bin Abdullah radiyallahu anhu says that Sirat al-Mustaqim, he also says, is Islam. ما بين السماء والأرض, it is as vast as between the heavens and the earth. Muhammad bin Hanafiya says that Sirat al-Mustaqim means the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, besides which there is no deen that is acceptable. And all this is mentioned by Ibn Kathir rahimahullah. And in this verse, it is the path of those that are the people of In'am, the people who have been favored, blessed with grace, like the path of the Nabiyyin, the Siddiqeen, and the Shuhada and the Salihin. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم, the path of those upon whom is your grace, your favor, of the Nabiyyin, the prophets, the Siddiqeen, the truthful, the Shuhada, the martyrs, and the Salihin, and the pious. So, to sum up the Quran Kareem, the Quranic prayer, Ihdina as-Sirat al-Mustaqim, guide us in the straight path, is the most comprehensive and definitely one of the most important prayers taught to man. No one from the human beings, mankind can claim not to be in need of it. Even the Anbiya, the Ahlullah, the spiritual elite are in need of this dua, because it is a path that is infinite. There's no end to this path. There is no end to this path. Okay, so hence why everyone is in need of this. No success, no prosperity in this life as well as the next life can really come without being on the straight path. So to be successful in both worlds, one has to be on this path. Particularly for man lost in anxieties of the mortal life, the prayer for the straight path is a potent cure and elixir, though people do not realize this. And also Allah Azza wa Jalla mentions, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu aminu, O believers, come upon Iman Kamil. So in this verse, the people of Iman have been commanded to adopt Iman. So this is a proof that this is an inducement, an encouragement from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala to render istiqamat, to render steadfastness, and to be firm upon that path of Iman, to be firm upon Islam. And likewise, Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim, going back to my what I said, is a prayer for increase in that guidance, for progression in that guidance and istiqamah. Al-Mustaqim comes from istiqamah, steadfastness, and as is the saying, al-istiqamatu fawqa al-karama. Istiqamah is greater and more superior than karama, steadfastness, and being firm upon the straight path, upon Islam, and adopting complete Iman, and being steadfast therein is above any karama, above any miracle. And this is obviously not possible without the tawfiq and help of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, which is why we pray for Allah's guidance upon the straight path with istiqamat, with steadfastness. May Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala grant us steadfastness upon the straight path, and may Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala grant us the ability to progress with His aid, with His assistance, to progress in this infinite journey and progression in Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And may Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala grant us the quality of ihsan, and make us of those that are the most beloved in the sight of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, from the muqarrabeen, the siddiqeen, and the muhsineen. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولكافة المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.